So how have you all been?
Fine, sir.
So who wants to do the Pratna Shloka today? Who will do the Pratna? Vishwat, you want to do the... What does God worship? Okay, then Vishwat, you are not there in the last class, no, Vishwat?
Yes, sir, I was not there.
You weren't there. Okay, yeah. No problems. Viren was there, Athar was there, Sri Amsini was also there. Yes. So let's do one simple thing today. All of you understand, yes, I get your question. I'll answer that question along with another question that we had. Who is God? Last week we discussed a little bit about who is God. Did we? Sri Amsini, anything you want to add to that? Who is God?
Sir, God is not a picture, sir. It's a power that we worship, an external natural power which actually is there, but people don't can only see that power once they attain knowledge or bliss, and that that one state of mind which it in turn turns into wisdom or something.
Okay, we'll take a step back before that. I mean, that's a very detailed answer you have given. So let's understand something. We were discussing about fruits of action. No, we get points, we get happiness, we get sadness, everything. Correct? Now, we also discussed that there are 5 things that determine whether we'll get good result, what our results will be about, how good or bad or what will be our results. What are those 5 things? Anybody remembers? No? All of you made notes, no, that day? No, you don't remember? First yourself, then the surroundings, then the instrument with which you work, how good your instrument of work is, then how much of effort you put in, then where you are doing the work. Finally, there is a factor called luck. Did we discuss this? Right? Now, last week, Meera madam told one very important thing. What did she say? She said there is a concept called point system. Did she talk about point system? You get good points, you get bad points, etc., etc., etc. Right? Now, let's discuss how do you get these points? On what factors are these points based, and what is this concept of points altogether? Let's discuss this a little in detail today. Shall we do that? Sri Amsini gave a very good story of Abhignana Shakuntala the other day.
Sir, just one question, sir. So one day when you are free, can you just let me know where you had your education or what you're currently working at, just a detailed overview of it?
A detailed overview. I have already given a brief overview of that. But okay, we'll discuss something in detail.
Sir, because I need few tips and tricks after I finish 10th, sir.
We will take that offline. May not be for this, it will not be relevant. Yeah. After today's class, probably for 15 minutes we can.
Yes, sir, sure.
Okay, that's fine. No, we'll do that. Okay. So let's come back to this question of all of us have heard the term karma. Karma. Everybody knows. Okay. What is karma? Let's start with Vishnu.
Sir, karma is any action we do.
Is any action that we do. What if we are, okay. Is sitting simply and doing nothing also an action?
No.
It is not an action. Okay. Fine. Viren, what is your thought? What is karma?
Sir, karma is what we do something.
What we do something. Okay. I'll come back to you, Sri Hamsiri, in a while. Hold on to that. Athar, what is karma?
Same thing, sir. Not this.
Same thing. You're also not this one. Okay. Neil,
Yeah.
what is karma?
Karma is like when you do something bad,
Mhm.
something else will happen just as bad as what you did.
Hmm.
Like for example, if you if you steal money,
Hmm.
like if you're saying that you had karma, it's probably like someone stole your money as well. Like, yeah.
Hmm. So what will happen if you do that?
So like if you do something bad, like
It will do something bad for you.
something
Oh,
just as bad will happen.
okay. That's your understanding of karma. Fine. So let
Like
me
if
just
you've
give
done
you, yeah.
something really bad in your past life, then
Hmm.
maybe in your next life, like you'll be born like not as a human, like
Oh,
or you, yeah.
got it. So you're now he's talking, he talked about two things. He talked very important. First, Vishnu told me it's about action. Whatever action you do is karma. Neil said, it is something more than just that. It has also got to do with what you have done in the past, what you're doing now, what you'll probably do in the future is also decided by some concept, right? So because what he said was, in my past life, if I've done something, this life will be impacted because of that, and that is also karma, right? So which means my future is in some ways decided by what I have already done. Do you all agree about this? Okay. Now, let me just define this formally. If I just give you some basic idea of what karma is. Neil was right in the sense, and even Vishnut was absolutely right. Only I'll add to that, in fact, to say that, let us say I do something, anything that will necessarily have some fruit along with it or some end result because of that action. There's always a result along with an action, whether good, bad, right, wrong, secondary. But there is going to be a result. Can I definitely say this? Correct? Anybody who disagrees to that? No. Let us say, for instance, I am playing football. Okay. Necessarily, I am running, or necessarily I am actually either going to score a goal, not score a goal, whatever may be the case. Necessarily, my body is physically getting exercised, right? So many things are happening. Give me a minute. Just hold on there. Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah. So necessarily there is something that is coming out of that exercise, some action. Now we are all sitting here. 6 of us are here, right? 6 of us are sitting and doing something. We are interacting. I am learning something from you. You are learning something from me. I am talking. You are listening. You are talking. I am listening. Correct? So let's take the simple action of talking. If I am talking, 5 of you are listening. Correct? Similarly, if one of you is talking, other 5 of us are listening. Now, two things can happen here. Let's assume that the person talking is talking very consciously, very knowingly talking about whatever, attentively talking in the present. That will make an assumption for now. Okay. The people listening may be actively listening, maybe passively listening, or maybe physically present and mentally be absent. Possible? Have you all experienced this at some point? Boring class after lunchtime, everybody is sleepy. Happened? All of you have gone through this? Anybody who has not experienced this? Everybody has experienced. Now, three things can happen to this listening process. One, you're actively listening in the present. That means you're actively processing whatever is happening, you're taking it in, and you're there. Correct? Second thing is you're physically present, mentally absent. Which means that you're thinking about something totally different. You know what is being cooked at my house right now? I'm so feeling so hungry. And the teacher is talking, if x plus y is equal to 3, x minus y is equal to 4, solve this equation, y and y cancel, 2x is equal to 7, x is equal to 7 by 2, 3.5, and everything is lost. At the end of it, the teacher asks, okay, who did not get 3.5? And then you suddenly wake up and say 3.5. Okay, there was sugar in my brain. No, there was sambar going on. If only she had made some good potato fries or French fries, or if only I had got pizza yesterday. And suddenly you realize, no, there are 3 slices of pizza, not 4 slices. Why 3.5? Then you are totally lost. Correct? Then there is one more thing. Passively listening. Sleepy time in the afternoon. Eyes are drooling, dropping, and I'm almost about to sleep. But the teacher is going on and on. You know, there was one person by the name Akbar who lived in 1526. There was Battle of Panipat. That's it. After that, what happens?
After that, Adun Shah, along with the king near Mongol, attacks in the first battle of Panipat.
No. This is all what the teacher is saying. But then what is happening in your mind?
I sleep.
Yeah, then you are confused between whether it was Panipat or Kurukshetra, then you are totally confused. When the exam comes, you have heard Panipat, but you're almost sleepy. Then you heard one Akbar, you heard one Panipat. Then suddenly somebody, Nadir Shah came, and then you are totally lost. And then somebody said, you know, Dhritarashtra. Okay, so Dhritarashtra and Akbar fought Battle of Panipat. What a fun it will be then. Right? So you don't want that sort of problems. So there are 3 kinds of listening you can do. Similarly, every action can be put in these 3 framework. One, actively engage and doing that action, which is called with Shraddha. Doing it with full attention, detailed, minute detail you are putting in the effort to do that action. It could be even reading a book. I don't like this subject, so okay, I'm physically reading the book, my eyes are going through, and even my mouth is also going, but my mind is always in, you know, if only I was sitting with that friend and what was I thinking, what were we chatting? Right? That will not work. And suddenly I'm reading the book. No. So these 3 things is what determines the kind of outcome that is from your end. Correct? This is what is in your hand. At best, you can be in the present, do the work in the present, or you can do that work very lazily, or you can be totally off and still be doing the work. So in each of these 3 cases, the kind of result, what should you expect in the first case, where you are actively doing with all your effort? What will happen then? Atar, what will happen then?
Sir, you will get good mark.
You will get good, you are expected to get good results. Now there is a difference between getting result versus what happens to you. There's a huge difference. You can study very hard, you can do all the thing in the right way, but on the exam day, maybe you fall ill. Can happen for some reason, whatever reason, or you are not able to reach the exam hall on time for whatever reason. That's beyond you, right? But then, in spite of that, there is something very important that has happened. Yes, you did not get the good results. Fine. Or somebody, you wrote the exam also, somebody correcting did not mistook your this paper for somebody else's and gave you very different marks than what you should get. I'm not talking of the marks. Marks is one end of the story. Let's take the other end of the story. What has happened in the meantime if you are indulged in the right form of work? In the case of, let's say, just studying, you learned something. Very consciously you learned something, correct? Or if you're consciously playing football, you enjoyed playing that game. Maybe you scored a goal, maybe you did not score the goal, maybe the opposition was very tough. So many things. But at the end of it, you enjoy doing that work. So in this case, your karma also comes with one, what is called the tangible output. That is your marks or the goals or whatever you get. And what is called an intangible output. In the case of studying, for instance, the intangible output is you have learned something. You have grasped something. You know something more. Right? Now, the marks are definitely not in your control. But the intangible output that is coming is definitely in your control. That you have learned, that you have gained. It may not be of use today, maybe. Maybe the marks did not reflect what you studied. Maybe someday it will showcase something. Maybe today you did not score a goal. That's okay, but your game improved. You learned a lot in the game. Right? Same way, it goes on. So many things can happen that way. Right? That is one frame. Now, these are what gives you positive points to some extent. If you're doing a good job, again, there's a difference between choosing the right thing to do and not doing the wrong thing to do. You can do the same thing in a very wrong way also. You can be hitting somebody and then hitting with all the attention and detail to hitting that person or that animal or whatever. Now, that is not going to give you all the good things. But what happens is that intangible points are still gained by you. Good or bad is secondary. This is called karma. This intangible thing that keeps coming to you recursively for doing an action is what is called karma. Now, as we said, there can be both good karma and bad karma. The good karma itself can be in three different ways. The bad karma can also be in three different ways. The good karma, as we said, you are in the moment, you are doing the thing at that point and earning certain things. Or you are earning it very lethargically, not doing this or whatever you are doing. In the third case, you are sleeping, you are not even doing that. Now, the first way of doing it, being in the present moment, doing the right things, is driven by what is called a guna called sattva. Have you all heard of sattva? Sattva. You have not heard of sattva? There are three concepts. Sattva, rajas, tamas. The first one is sattva. Sattvic. Correct me. Yes, Vishwat, you have to say something.
Sir, yes, sir. I've read it in one of the books. I have the three states of Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic.
Correct. Same thing. So if you are...
And sir, there is a shloka for each of the gunas. No, sir, I learned it, sir, but I don't remember. If I remember, I'll surely chant it in class.
You will chant it in class. Next time that is your this one. Which chapter is it in?
Sir, I think one is in 18th, one is in 11th, and one more. I don't know, sir. The Tamasika, this thing, I don't know, sir. I've forgotten half of it. I
Okay.
learned it almost 4 years ago.
You learnt it almost 4 years ago. Okay, no problem. Okay. There is what is called, let me give you that shloka for a minute. Uh, hmm. कर्मण सुकृतस्याहुः सात्विकं निर्मलं फलं रजसस्तु फलं दुःखम अज्ञानं तमसः फलम. Have you heard of this? कर्मण सुकृतस्याहुः. Karma is dependent on three factors. Satvikam nirmalam phalam. The sattvic, the first one, that is with all the shraddha, with all the dedication, you are in the moment you are doing the job. That will give you a mental satisfaction. If not anything, it will give you a mental satisfaction. Correct? Whether you get marks, whether you don't get marks. Okay, that's something, it will hurt you, no doubt, if you don't get for whatever you are doing. The sattvic means serene. It is not a very right translation. Serene is an outcome. Sattvic is more of a guna, inbuilt quality. Okay. The attitude towards work. Serenity is not an attitude towards work. Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic are more of attitude towards your what drives your attitude towards a particular process or work. Okay. Now that is sattvic. That is, you'll get a very calming feature in yourself. Okay. Now, if you do the work in the second way, that is, if you are you are physically doing the work but mentally absent, let us say, you are cutting fruits, but then you are thinking, how dare somebody do something to me like this? So you cut the fruit with all your force. What is the possibility?
Sir, we may even cut our fingers and
You may
end up
cut
cutting.
your finger. Yeah.
And I've done that, sir.
You have done that already. Chop your finger. Yes. Vishnu, anything else you want to add?
You're cutting something very hard like jackfruit. If you have to put in all your effort, you have a chance of hacking off one of your fingers.
Okay, no, that is not what I mean. See, there is a difference between putting in all your effort to cut a jackfruit, where you are in the moment and trying to cut it. If you carefully cut it, you will not cut your finger. That's a different thing. What I'm saying is, maybe you're cutting as simple as tomato, for instance. Okay, or even with a jackfruit, if your mind is somewhere else totally, what can happen?
Sir, we could either fully chop our finger or end up with a mild scratch.
Which, whatever. You'll not be in a very right state of mind. That is driven by what is called Rajasic Guna. But if you are totally lazy in doing it, who wants to do this? Why am I even doing this? How the hell is this going to help? What is this going on in my life? Why am I put in this situation? Etc. and do the work. Why am I even in this class? Who is this? Who is forcing me to listen to all these nonsense? Why are we here? Who is going on and on and on and all this? Then it's a very, you'll not even forget learning something. You'll not even get the pleasure of, okay, see, I could do a prank, I could do this, I could do that. You are only going to be in a state where you'll only go back with very bad memories and feelings altogether. Correct? That is sort of driven by what is called tamasic good. Okay. So this karma is very, very important. if you're doing it the first way, whether good activity, if you're doing good activities, you'll get some good brownie points. If you're doing some wrong activities, you'll get some bad brownie points. Simple. Very, very simple. No, and these are all intrinsic. They have got nothing to do with how much marks you got or how much money you earned or what you got. The work that you have done has an intrinsic impact on us. Whatever work we do has an intrinsic impact on us. So here we should be very careful. Given it's an intrinsic activity, everything, whether you are sleeping, whether you are sitting, whether you are actively choosing to just sit and do whiling away your time, or you are actively studying something or you are doing something, is all some form of work. Whether you like it or not, is some form of work. Okay. But the thing is, whether you are getting the right brownie points or not, is something that you have to decide. If you are studying, if you are doing the right kind of work, if you are playing football, if you are indulging in something that is very actively beneficial to you as well as the society, then you are getting some good brownie points. If you are doing something that is intrinsically harmful to you or to the society, then you are gaining some bad brownie points. These are what are called karma points. Yes, Shyamsini.
Sir, I have a general question. So it's actually related to politics. Like now, just before election, all the parties like they put roads, they clean the waste, they ask, they do some sort of good things like finally fix the park or something like that. So what type of guna will it come under sattvic, rajasic, or tamasic? And once they actually win the election, they don't do anything for the society. They only sit, and even if we ask them to do something, they literally drag it very long. So what kind of action is it bought into?
Okay, very good question. Very good point. So here you have to distinguish between, as I said, the intrinsic value that they are doing to themselves versus what is the outcome that they are showing out. Correct? Now, the outcome is something that is for everybody to see. Right? Now, outcome is one way of determining what they have done. But there is another way of determining whether they have really put in effort or not put in effort, which is within themselves. If they have put in the right kind of effort and if they have done the right thing, then they will not have to come to you and ask for votes. Correct? People will naturally vote, no?
Yes, sir. I won the school election like that itself.
Yeah. So there you go. Anybody
Sir,
wants to add to this?
but I'm not telling that every party is wrong, sir. But actually, too much campaigning is too. Sir, because there is this one time where actually they went and they started bribing people to vote for them. So,
Yeah,
what type of action does that come into?
So see, that is very simple, right? It showcases what their confidence is.
Sir, no, sir. Like once they bribe, they get the votes, they win, and finally they promise that they give something, and they never do that.
So yeah, okay, very important point. Very important point. Thank you for bringing this up, Shyamsini. So see, one very important thing. As I said, the outcome of an exercise, the extrinsic outcome of an exercise is not dependent upon what you are currently doing. Immediately you may earn something. See, I don't go to the elections at all. Let's take our own case, writing an exam. Okay. You have prepared something. To some extent, you've all prepared. You're all gone to the exam. In the exam, you find one question which is not easy to answer. Okay. Then there is some temptation in the mind. If I ask that person, probably he knows the answer. And let me just ask quickly when somebody is not saying, let me ask and answer. Right? Now that's a temptation. Whether you do it or whether you don't do it is what is going to determine. If you do it and you don't get caught, you must still get a mark. Right? But that has added to your intrinsic karma point of negativity. The result of that intrinsic karma point need not be immediate at all. That can take fruit after, say, as Neil said, maybe in the next birth. You have intrinsically sown something. Now, if you sow something right, you'll get right things. If you sow something wrong, you'll get wrong things. Simplest way to understand this intrinsic value is like this. We have all seen trees and plants germinate, no? Right? If you put a mango seed, how long does it take to grow into a tree and give you fruits?
So 17 years.
17 years. Anybody else?
Sir, until you use some extreme like chemical and fertilizers, if you use every single thing so much, minimum it will take us 14 years, sir.
14 years. Okay. Viren, anything? Viren has been very silent.
Sir, if you like take proper care of the plants and you put all the fertilizers and also you do like natural compost and all, think it will take around 10 years.
10 years. Correct. So you're all right. It will take anywhere between 7 to 15 years depending upon what kind of a fruit it is, what kind of a mango tree it is. Okay, I've seen mango trees giving fruits even in 6-7 years. I've also seen mango trees giving fruit after 15-16 years. Right. So, one same mango tree, I'm talking of the mango alone. Forget other plants, shrubs, all the other brinjal or anything else which can give it in three months. This intrinsic karma is exactly like that. The kind of seed you put in, the kind of feed that you give, what happens when it germinates and gives you an intrinsic result is dependent upon a lot of other factors. Okay. So that's why they always say, always keep doing good deeds. Always keep earning internal good deeds. It is not about getting marks. It is, or rather, I wouldn't say it's not. It is very much about getting marks. Don't take me as you should not get marks. You should get very good marks. Don't even think that marks are not important. They're very important. But the thing is, it is about getting marks the right way or earning money the right way without cheating, learning by yourself, putting all the effort by yourself. Taking, of course, your teachers are there to help you. There are tuitions. You do a lot of hard work outside. All those things will aid. Definitely, you should take all that help. But finally, when you're writing the exam, are you ethical enough in writing that exam? Correct? Exact same analogy will apply to politician case also, Shriyamji. So you can draw the analogies wherever you want. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So that internal points are very, very, very important. This is what drives our karma.
Sir, I made out analogy. So what they do in those 10 days is what gets reflected for 5 years.
Not just 5 years. That's 5 years is what public sees. Right. But that lasts for probably that may not even germinate in this birth at all. That may go to the next birth altogether. Okay, they are dead, they are gone. Somebody, they will come back in some form and do things. Okay. So let me I'll talk about birth also. We'll talk a little bit about what is this birth business, what is this Janma, birth, all these things. Isn't that one day we are born, one day we die? Isn't that the whole story? So let's discuss a little bit on that. So let's take this concept called, we talked about karma, no? And intrinsic karma and extrinsic output. Okay. Now this karma are usually, let us say, okay, how many of you have been to, say, how many of you have been to a bowling alley? You have been to a bowling alley. Anybody else who's been to a bowling alley or at least seen bowling alley? Vishwat has. Atharv has. Viren?
Sir, what is bowling alley?
Bowling alley. You have not seen a bowling alley?
No, sir, I don't know what's the meaning.
You don't know what is a. They have ball. There are 6 pins or 9 pins. No, how many pins? 6 pins.
12, sir. 12, 9
12,
and 6, 3 are
12,
there.
9 and 16. Correct. Correct. So there are pins kept at the end of it. You roll the ball on the floor and then it goes and hits the pins and the pins fall down.
Yes, sir, I have been to bowling.
Yeah, you're going to bowling. Yeah, that's bowling. Yeah, it's bowling only. The alley, the path on which you bowl is called the bowling alley. All of you have been bowling, no? Correct. Very good. Now, tell me, how many chances do you get in a, for one full this one?
Only one.
No, first time you get one. Okay, let's say you don't end it with one. Let's say only 3 pins fall in the first one.
So you actually, if you pay a higher cost, you get 3 chances. If you pay a normal, easy, classic this thing, you get around only 1.
I thought minimum was 3.
So I don't know, sir, because when we went, it was like you need to pay this much for 3, this much for 1, and this much for how many ever you want.
Okay.
Even in the championships, what happens is once you roll the ball, only the number of pins that are knocked out are to count. The remaining pins will be picked up by a machine and they'll be placed again.
Correct, they're replaced back. Yes. So it goes 2 ways. Correct, you're absolutely right. So basically, you get about 3 chances to roll out all the pins. Your aim is to roll out all the pins. Correct, knock out all the pins. That is the aim of that bowling. You usually get at least 3 chances in most of the bowling exercises that I have seen. You get at least 3. Okay, maybe there are exceptions where they give you 1, but see, even to roll and get your chances right, you're getting 3 chances, at least 3 chances. Now I'm talking of the whole concept of life where I have done some good things, I have done some bad things. Let us say on the day of your death, you are doing some good things or bad things. Okay, what will happen to that then? Intrinsically, I have gained something. Where will it all go? It should be stored somewhere, no? I should get the result of that somewhere. So there is what is called carryover business. This carryover happens. So death from our perspective is not the end of our life. Is the end of our life, but is not the end of the story. What you do is, death is for the physical body. The body will die. Body has to die because the body is there. It's after all, it will, you are all born on some day, you are all aging. And as we age over time, there is something at the end of it, everybody will die at some point. Correct? So that will happen. That happens for anything. But there is something intrinsic within us which is called the Jivatma. That is not the body, which is enabling this breathing in, breathing out exercise within us. Correct? If that Atma is not there, then we will not be breathing in, breathing out. That's all. That is what happens when people die. That Atma moves out of this body. Just like you have this shirt or you have these clothes. You throw out the clothes. If it is worn out, what do? You throw it out. You wear a new cloth. The Jivatma just does exactly that with this body. The body is worn out, done with the job, over, it got old. What it will do, it will just walk out of that body on the day.
Sir, so is there something called soul inside our body, sir?
Soul. That whole concept of soul is a little wrong term. I'll use the word Atma instead. Okay. There is a Jivatma. Definitely there is a Jivatma. There is
so we have some internal type of Atma in our body.
There is an Atma. Let's take the word Atma and understand what the word Atma is. Atma is that Shakti which is enabling us to live, which is enabling this whole process called living. If that is not
what
there,
about the respiratory and cardiac?
All these systems are enabled just until the point that Atma is there in the body. The moment that leaves the body, there is no breathing, the heart does not function, the brain does not function, All the biological parts do not function. Your temperature is not 37 degrees Celsius anymore. Correct?
Sir, where does that Atma go?
That is a very important question. So where does it, let's forget where does that Atma go? Where does it come from?
Sir, from the mother's body. No, wait.
Wait. Now, see, now you are telling something totally different.
Sir, because giving birth to a baby is a totally different process now, sir.
Well, see, that's just a physiological process. That's just a physiological process, no? Now that is one body giving birth to another body. That's about it. Where does this Atma come from?
Sir, maybe the mother's half, I mean, what or whatever that amount of Atma will go to the child.
That is all your chromosomal business. Leave that out. That's okay.
Sir, DNA, sir.
Yeah, that is the chromosomal business. That's what I said. It's the DNA. That decides only the DNA part. Now, do you mean to say there is no DNA once the body, once the Atma is out of the body?
Sir, DNA is still there, sir, because from murder cases also they find out the DNA of the body.
The DNA is there, the chromosomes are there, everything is there in the body. It's all left. All that I said was it left the Atma left the body. And hence the process is stopped.
Sir, why does the Atma leave, sir? If it doesn't leave, then we are immortals, no, sir.
If Atma leaves, that's where I'm asking the question, where did the Atma come from to begin with?
Sir, the first person who was born, sir.
So hold on, you can leave the house only once you get into the house, correct? Yes, Athar, you are saying something.
Sir, what is chromosome something you told?
Forget it. You'll study all that when you get to 8th standard. Don't bother about too much about it right now. Shriyamsini has studied all that. That's why she's talking about it. Okay, that's okay.
It's part of your cell. That's all. Like, you have something called cells in your body inside that.
So, have you studied about amoeba and everything?
Yes, sir, done.
No, Athar would not have. Hold on, Shriyamsini. You're too old. Yes, Athar. You have not studied all that. So you have studied about cells. You know cells, no? Now what will happen to cells if they have to multiply?
They have to multiply.
So cell will divide itself into two parts and it will become two. That's all happens. Similarly, there are so many cells, there are so many things happening, and similarly, there is a whole system of things that are evolved. Okay, you'll study all these things as you go to higher class. Leave it at that point. Okay. So yes, Neil, you're right about that, about what you just said. Fine. So we'll come back to this concept called Atma. What we need to very clearly understand is Atma is very different from the body. Body is just a physical structure. The body, the bones, the processes, etc. And that is active. I am able to speak right now only because there is an Atma inside me. Or rather, that Atma is making me speak.
Sir, one question, sir. Sir, right now the human lifespan is minimum 80 to 90 years. But in the Yuga where Rama, all of them used to live, like they used to almost rule for almost around 100 decades or something like that. And how they still didn't die.
So that is something that is yet to be reconciled, and I don't think I have the answer to that right now. Okay.
So because my father told that in different yugas there are different stages of death.
Yes.
Like in the
There are
first
so
yuga,
many things.
until your body decays, you are alive.
Correct. There are many things. So for instance, Ramayana, it comes, he ruled for 11,000 years. Now, how do I reconcile 11,000 years is something that we are yet to. In different yugas, it happens differently. There are many ways of doing it. I think that's beyond the scope of this discussion at this point. We'll take it some other time. There are many things. There are many numbers that come in. In fact, lot of numbers come in. It goes to the extent of what I don't know what is the largest number that anybody can tell me here.
Sir, Dhruva 36,000 years.
No. Hold on. One longest number. I want one long number.
Infinity.
Infinity is not a number. Infinity is end.
Sir, 9 followed by 9, sir.
Okay, fine. Vishwas.
Something like 1 trillion into 1 trillion.
1 trillion into 1 trillion. That is 10 to the power 12. All of you know exponents? 10 to the power 12. No? Athar does not know. Who knows exponents? Yes, Hashri Amsini definitely knows. Vishrut also knows because he just said. Neil also knows. Okay. Viren? No, you also don't know. Viren and Athar don't know. Okay, let's not talk. So let us say, you know what is 100, Athar? You know 100. 1000? You know 10,000? 100,000? After 100,000, what comes?
Million.
Wait. Let us. Yeah. What comes? Athar.
Million.
Million. After million?
Trillion.
No. 10 million. Viren is right. 10 million. After 10 million?
100 million.
Viren. What comes after 10 million?
Sir, 100 million.
100 million. After 100 million?
Sir, billion.
1 billion. After 1 billion?
10 billion.
10 billion. After 10 billion?
100 billion.
100 billion. Athar. After 100 billion?
1 trillion.
1 trillion comes after 100 billion. You're right. That is 1000 times 1 billion. Correct? Yeah. So yes, Neil, we'll get to that life cycle a little later. I'm just coming to that. Hold on. Okay, you have 1 trillion. Vishnu said 1 trillion times 1 trillion. That is the largest number you can think of. That is 1 followed by 11 zeros. 10 to the power 12. Sorry, 12 zeros is actually 1 trillion.
Sir, but actually 10 to the power 12 is a small number in the 13-digit series, sir. So it should be...
Wait. 1 trillion is 1 followed by 12 zeros. Correct? Now he is saying 1 trillion into 1 trillion. That is 1 followed by 24 zeros. Okay, that is the largest number you can think of. Okay, yes, that is one number. Okay, now there are larger numbers than that. Numbers can go very large. There's a very beautiful book. We'll discuss that some other day. Okay, if we continue some other day, we'll discuss. What is the largest number that that Indians ever found out? Googleplex, yes, 10 to the power 100. Is that right, Neil?
I think because I'm pretty sure that wasn't Google made by Indians? Like
No, Google was made by Indians, perhaps, but
no, like the search engine Google.
no, that was by
Because the search engine Google is related to the number Google because
yes, very good,
the company decided to name it Google because
yes.
of the number.
Yes. What is the original name of Google? What is the actual name of Google? Which is the company?
Chrome.
No. Chrome is a product of Google. Yeah, what is the parent company of Google?
10.
Huh?
Well, I know like the it translated to like in the powers
So
of
Internet Explorer or Firefox?
Those are all products. Those are all products and no.
Oh yeah.
Neither of them.
companies.
Anybody knows what is the parent company of Google? Nobody knows. Homework for all of you. Go find out. What is the
Sir,
parent?
I know, sir. I forgot, sir.
Okay, no problem. Go find out. Vishnu, you are saying something.
Sir, I don't know, sir. I think it starts with P or something.
Forget it. Okay. Go find out the pair. All of you have a homework. All of you go back,
Sir,
find out.
alphabet.
Okay, very good. You found it. Okay, now the second homework for all of you. Go find out the parent company of Facebook.
I think it's Meta.
Yeah, it's Meta. Okay, people know things. Very good. Fantastic. Okay, let's get back. So there are much larger numbers that you can think of. There are numbers like 7 to the power 432. Just take a minute to think about it. 7
Sir,
to the power.
the largest number which anyone can think of is infinity to the power of infinity.
No, infinity to the power infinity is undefined. You may not understand it. Go find it out. Okay.
Sir, or
Infinity.
infinity square. Square of infinity.
If a square of infinity is infinity. Okay. Two things. 0 by 0 is undefined. Infinity by infinity is undefined. Go find out why.
Sir,
Okay.
because 0 by 0 is because when we represent it in P by Q form, Q shouldn't be equal to 0 or else it won't be a rational number. So 0 by 0 is not a real number.
No. What
It's
is
a
5 by
irrational
0? What
number.
is 5 by 0?
Sir, 5 by 0 is a irrational number, sir. I mean, in the sense, it's not a real number. It's
What
a...
is? No, you're wrong. 5. What is 5 by 0? Neil is saying 0. No, it is not 0.
1.
No. Yes,
Sir,
Athar. Huh?
Sir, it's 5.
5 by 0 is 5. What is 5 by 1 then?
5.
5. Huh. What is Athar? Athar, what's your answer?
Sir, same thing.
No. What? Viren, any answer? 5 by 0?
Sir, 0.
5 by 0 is not 0.
Sir, it's undefined because 0 isn't divisible by anything or any number isn't divisible by 0.
No. No. If you divide any number by 0, it is infinity.
Oh, yeah.
But 0 divided by 0 is undefined. You cannot have 0 divided by 0. It cannot be 1, it cannot be infinity, it cannot be anything. You don't know what it is. It is undefined. Think about it.
Sir, I'll research and come.
Yeah. Similarly, infinity by infinity divided by infinity is undefined. Yes, Vishwat.
Sir,
Minus infinity.
0 is something like you have air and you're trying to pluck more air out of it.
Yeah, that's fine. You'll build up pressure. That's about it.
Sir, but even in between numbers, there are many numbers, sir. So, like, for example, in our standard way of measuring, we have like 0.1, 0.2 till 0.9. But if we go in successive magnification, we have like 0.11, 0.111, 0.111. So there are many numbers even between numbers, sir. So like then there is no there is infinite numbers between even every number now, sir.
There are infinite numbers between any two numbers. Absolutely. Who is disputing that?
Sir, then there is nothing called finite, sir, in numbers.
There are no numbers are never finite. Who said numbers are finite? Numbers are never finite.
Yes, sir.
No set of numbers are ever finite. Whether
Yes,
it
sir.
is natural numbers, integers, or okay,
Whole
let's start with
numbers.
natural numbers, whole numbers, integers, rational numbers, irrational numbers, real numbers, complex. Have you heard of anybody heard of complex numbers here? Only Sri Amsini has said. Okay. None of that set are finite.
Sir, even 0 is infinite.
0 is not infinite, it's a number. 0 is a number.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, there are so many definitions of it. If you do some work in mathematics, let me know. We will talk about it then. Digits. Yes. Neil, you are saying something.
There are only 10 digits though. Like,
Yeah, there are only 10 digits. But then those 10 digits can lead to a lot of combinations and give you infinite possibilities.
it's not possible to write every number in the world.
Do you want to write?
Sir, I
Sir,
actually started writing,
No, I
sir.
won't
I
be
almost wrote till I almost finished 4 books writing only numbers, sir.
Good for you. Yes, Neil.
The highest I've ever counted up to was probably like
That's
maybe
what,
like 800 or something. I
Yeah.
know numbers higher than that, but like
Yeah.
what I'm talking about
You
is
get
like
bored after counting a while, or rather you lose count of how much you have counted. Right?
yeah.
Yeah. So Vishrut was saying a number like 10 trillion times trillion. Okay. So things can go beyond that. So that's the point I wanted to make. So what I'm saying is that, you know, your life is, it's not just about one point things come in and one point things go out. That is just a continuum. That is just a process of continuum. The same thing that moves out of this body comes back into another body as another Atma, as the same Atma in a different body. That's about it. What transpires it to come into some other body is what is governed by the brownie points or the karma that it has gained, the intrinsic values that it has gained in the previous birth. Okay.
Sir, so will infinite all that come inside quantum computing
Well,
physics?
so all those are intrinsic, those are all extrinsic components. Let's talk about some intrinsic components like Atma for now. We'll get into quantum physics some other day. We just discussed numbers. Quantum physics is an interesting story in itself. For that, we'll need a little more discussion because a lot of people here don't have any introduction to quantum physics, STMCD, or they don't even understand that. So hang in there for a bit. Okay. So the Atma comes from some place. Let's call that the source, which is infinitely full, and comes into this body. Similarly, when it is leaving the body, it goes back to that pool somewhere. Now, there are various gradations while reaching that pool. Now, you can, there could be a seed which, let's take the simple example of a seed. Now, a seed is the potential tree, correct? Every seed is a potential tree. Neil will discuss this a little later. That's good. Yeah, what you are saying is right. Right. So every seed is a potential tree. So let us say a mango. When you saw a mango seed for the first time, did you ever think, if nobody ever told you or if you had not seen it, did you think that the mango tree that is so tall and has been that can come out of that seed?
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I started thinking like that almost 1 year old.
Yeah, 1 year old, but by the 1 year old, you had actually seen something. Right? It was not something very intuitive. A jackfruit seed. Have you all seen a jackfruit seed? It's this small. What is the kind of tree that it becomes?
Sir, even apple seed, it's small, sir, but it grows into a very big tree.
Correct. So that whatever is a tree today was a seed someday. Is that right?
Sir, even we also might be 6 feet or 5 feet, but one day we were a
Fair
small
enough.
cell in the body.
You're right. You're right. So that force which is contained in all of these is the potential to grow into that part. Now that Atma goes out and it can take many time. It can take a long time to get back, or it can, as we discussed with the mango tree, for instance. It may take a very long time to give a fruit, for instance, right? Or it can give fruits in a very short time also. Same with, say, if it's a brinjal seed. Now, what seed you become is very much dependent on the kind of karma that you have gained right now. So, it's very important to do the right things at the right time right now. Do we all agree? That is very important. Now, whatever is there in the current state, from the birth to the death, that part, that portion of karma is called prarabdha karma. What we gained, let's say we have a bucket full, we have gone and accumulated some tank full of karma because of all the things that we have done in the past, in our past lives. Okay. We have it in a tank. We put whatever we get, we go there, dump it into that tank. Okay. Now, let us say the Atma wants to just take a birth. What does it do? It goes, dips it, takes a gunny bag or takes a backpack. Today's world, backpack, fair enough. Or takes a bucket, goes into that tank, dips it, takes it up, brings up and brings it into this place. That is what is called prarabdha karma. The tag is called sanchita karma. Whatever is accumulated karma. There's a huge tag lying out there. Okay. Now, if you do the
Sir,
right things,
probably the soul might enter when the baby is taking its first, like when the baby comes to the outer world, the soul might go in. No way.
no.
It isn't practically possible because the baby eats food inside, right?
See, you're contradicting yourself, Shriyam. So hang in there. No, there's a very deep concept. You need to think about it. You're a good biology student. I like that. Very good biology student. So think about when, at what point.
Sir, but I fail, sir. I fail.
That's okay. But you don't call it the soul, call it when the Atma will enter. Think about it. It's a very deep concept. Okay, you need to think a little more about it. Okay, so the
Sir,
Atma.
probably the soul
No,
might
no
have.
probably business. I want you to think and come back to me with the right answer. Think. You did not give it today. We can talk some other day also. Okay?
Question.
Yeah, question. Tell me.
Who basically puts the Atma into your body?
Very important question. Who physically takes that Atma and throws it into the body? Very, very important question. So, very simple thing. Nobody throws it.
Sir,
It's
the
a,
Atma itself comes inside the body.
it that enter that there's a process. There's a process. We'll discuss the process. There's a very deep process in it. We'll discuss that process some other day. So
Sir, it
nobody
should be related something to the life process of the first human being in the earth, sir.
no. It's got nothing to do with it also. So yes, I'll take the Athar's question and I'll answer you, Vishnu. Give me a minute. Yes, Athar, ask.
Sir, who created Atma?
Who created Atma? Very important question. No. Okay. Have you all heard of law of conservation of energy?
Yes, sir.
Athar will tell me what is law of conservation of energy. Yes.
Sir, can you repeat?
Yeah, please. What is law of conservation of energy?
Sir, I don't know.
You don't know the law of conservation of energy? Okay. Viren, do you know the law of conservation of energy?
No, sir.
No, you both don't know. No problem. We'll tell you what it is. Okay. Neil knows.
Yeah,
Do you know the law of conservation of energy?
I don't.
You don't know. Okay.
Like, what do you mean by that? Like,
Okay. You will. No. It's called energy. That's a very simple, straightforward science concept. Vishwat will tell us.
oh, energy.
Yeah.
Sir,
Yeah, I understand how energy is generated.
it can only change
Correct.
from one state to another.
Sorry.
Sir, it can neither be created nor can it be destroyed. It only changes from one state to another.
Absolutely. So Neil was also saying exactly the same thing. Energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. Very important thing. You can never create energy, you can never destroy energy. But then, whatever energy is there, you can transform it from one state to one form to another.
Sir, but when during the transformation of energy, some part of energy is lost, sir.
See, that lost energy is also accounted for. No, it is going somewhere. You can, what do you do? When you are transforming, let's say you are transforming from, say, potential energy to kinetic energy. Some friction is generated because of which some heat is there. Correct? Heat is also a form of energy. Right? Simple example.
Yes, sir, because they specify some energy is lost in presence of heat, light, or yes, sir.
So many ways. So Neil is giving the example of nuclear fusion and fission. Yeah, there is a mass also involved, which is also it's a concept of law of conservation of mass and energy. Mass and energy put together can neither be created nor be destroyed. They can only be transformed from one state to another state. Okay, that is the core principle on which this universe survives. Now I can state the exact same thing about Atma.
Sir, Atma can neither be created nor destroyed. It can only be transformed from one state to another state.
Absolutely perfect, Shriyamsi. That's all. That depends on its initial state of what karma it has. Okay? Simple example. A ball sitting on a high rooftop. It contains a lot of potential energy. Right, Vishruth?
Yes, sir.
Now suppose I just push the ball a little.
It will fall down.
It will fall down. In the process, what has happened?
The ball might break, or if it lands under some very rare circumstances, it might be in the same shape.
Yeah, ball, whatever will happen to the ball, but what that potential energy has got translated to what?
Kinetic energy.
Kinetic energy, because it is going into motion.
Yes, sir.
Right? So it is transformed from one state to another state.
And also it's gathering up more momentum as it falls.
Momentum as well, absolutely. Similarly, I can state exactly the same thing about any Atma. It is neither created nor destroyed. Now, depending on the karma that it has gained, it will transform itself from one state to the other state. Simple.
So,
if you
now karma is like the object in which the particular object is getting converted, the energy in the object is getting converted from one state to another. So karma is like that object.
Karma is not like that object. Karma is like that potential.
So it's a potential energy of the.
In our example, the ball is the Atma, and the potential where it was is the state. Is that karma? When somebody came and just pushed it out, it became a kinetic this one, and it moved out to a different state.
Yes, sir. So who is that person who pushed it out, sir? So the karma should have
here in this case, there is a concept of inertia there, correct? Which states, and that inertia applies to karma to this also. Whenever the time comes at the appropriate time, it will get transformed itself. That is because of the karma again. For all you know, there could be no force at all on the ball. Just because there was a wind, it can fall down.
So then what about the law of motion for the Atma, sir? Because according to the first law of motion, a particular object cannot be in rest or motion until given in an
absolutely. There should be some disturbance. Correct? That disturbance is also created by the karma that was there in the past.
Sir, so karma is a living thing.
Karma is not okay. It's a form of state. It's an energy. It is neither living nor dead. Right? So there is something that will put it into motion. It could be external, it could be internal. Right? It could be many things. Okay. So with this, questions, any questions? We'll continue. Is this an interesting discussion? Yeah, we'll continue this discussion in the next class. Tell me, let's come up with questions now. Yes, Sri Amsini.
Sir, we know what is nuclear fusions. I mean, nuclear fission or fusion. Sir, I don't know, sir, but I think it is nuclear fusion, sir, where actually two hydrogen atoms create to form one helium molecule, sir. It isn't actually, I mean, it is possible, sir, but I don't feel theoretically it's right, because helium itself has an atomic number of 2 and it's a noble gas, and hydrogen is the first element and it's a non-metal. So even if the number of electrons is added and it becomes stable enough, it will only create a H plus ion. But then we need an extra proton and a neutron to make it stable so that it can become a helium molecule. So now, sir, we don't during combination of two atoms, it only creates a H2 molecule. So from where does proton and neutron get fused to create helium molecules, sir?
Good question. We'll take it a little offline because nobody is understanding whatever you're saying here. They're all still pretty younger. This one, we can take this. To answer it in short, you're right. It is H11. It's basically hydrogen has only one proton and one electron. It does not have a neutron. Now, in the fusion process, what happens is the nucleus combines. It's a nuclear process. It's not a molecular combination. I don't know if you have studied, if you have yet to study the orbital theory and everything.
So we have finished Borbori
You have finished all
configuration,
that. Yeah, you
orbital
have
theory
done
is
all
done.
that. Fair enough. In which case, the electron play very little role in the whole process. It's a fusion. It's a fusion of the nuclei. Neil just answered that question. Okay. So fair. So let's not take it because probably others will get too distracted and probably they'll drop out because of the questions that you will ask. Okay. So let's not scare them out. Okay.
Sir, and when can we have the
We
offline?
can after this we can do. Okay. In another
Yes,
2
sir.
minutes will be ended and we can take. Okay. So yeah. Any other questions? Okay. No question. So great. Fantastic. Thank you very much. We'll meet again next class. Yes, Neil. Thrown out during the few. Absolutely. You're right about it. So Neil will also be able to answer that question, whatever you asked, how it forms. It's right.
So the energy will be thrown out.
So
So
yeah.
means
So
in
as I
which
said,
form will
we'll
it get
discuss this
released?
after this. Hold on. Hold on.
Yes, sir.
Hold on. So okay. Great. Okay. So shall we end this for now? Okay. Om Purnamadam Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanta Shanta Shanti Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om